been tough lately, kind of hit and miss, up and down again.
I feel like now it's, we have the days that we're down and out, but they're kind of farther and fewer in between a bit. But every day we break down.
Yeah, I've gotten used to being at work and just like I'll be totally doing something at work and just have like a quick like breakdown when like nobody's looking and stuff. And I just kind of have gotten used to just, I don't know, turning away for a minute, letting it out, and then getting back to work, which is like a weird thing. Mm-hmm. It's kind of crazy how you could just be like so focused on a task and then just like, I don't know, sometimes when you get busy in something, it's like you start to daydream when you're in it, and then like, or you just start to think about things when you're in it. And as soon as I do that, I just find like it just hits like so hard.
Just one little thing can trigger it.
Yeah, like a lot of triggers.
Thought.
Yeah, like because like the more I do a lot of things repetitively, right? And those repetitive things, you kind of just, it's easy to slip into when you already know what you're doing, you just slip into the task, and then kind of the daydreams just start, and then obviously I always end up thinking about Roman, and it hits hard, and I just kind of like look around, make sure nobody's looking, or just like turn a corner or something, kind of let it out for like 10 seconds and then just wipe it off and go back.
Yeah.
So
what I'm struggling with, I think right now is like I can't find anything to make me like have hope or happiness. Like even if I find small glimpses, it gets wiped away really quick. And then the future scares me a lot because I'm like, I'm almost feeling guilty for like having moments of being okay, because in the back of my mind, it's like, if you look at your reality and like, and I look at like Roman's not here with us, how can we be even remotely okay? But I think that's when I am connecting more on like human stuff, like the thought of him like not reaching these human life goals. But then there's a part of me where it's like when I connect to my soul level, there's like a knowing there that Roman's in the best place that he can be. He's in the safest place. He's in a better place than here. Like we've had experiences that have been shown to us, right? But I think my biggest struggle is trying to remind myself that, because like even when the sun was shining today, or like knowing that, hey, we're gonna, go open our pool soon. Like we're gonna head to the cottage soon. We're gonna have these things that are usually make us so happy. Like
yeah, no,
it's gonna be very hard.
I find it almost like I have to learn how to live a different life now, because like literally everything from before that we did together as a family, I don't have the strength to do anymore. Like yeah. I think like all those things are probably gonna just have to end, and I'm just gonna have to like figure out a whole new life now, because like I love Roman, I love thinking about him and all that, and keeping him with me, but the things that we did together is something totally different. Like I don't know if I can do them, like at least not all of them. Like even eating, like sometimes I can't even eat things without feeling so guilty, like the things he loved and stuff. Like man, it's a struggle. Even today when we were out, we did a nice little family outing today, went to Toronto, did some thrifting and stuff, and that was fun. But even when we stopped to like eat a burger, I was just like, yeah.
Well, that empty chair is there, and it's, what would Roman have loved, and he's the biggest void and the biggest presence all in once, because it's like now he's always with us. I always feel him, but it's not in a way that we're used to, and it's not a tangible way. It's a way that we have to grow to connect to him now. Like we have to level ourselves up to connect to him, right? Because you can't be on low vibrations and connect to source and spirit and life. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
So it's a challenge. But yeah, I'm more scared of the happy times than I am the sad times, which is bizarre to live in, So it kind of feels like everything sucks. Like even when I'm in a happy place, it sucks. Even when we get some good news, it still sucks. Because the person that we want to share it with isn't here with us, even though we still talk to them. But it's just, it's learning the new relationship with him.
Yeah, like even today when we spent some time with Bella and as a family, I felt great in that, and that was probably our first outing that I actually felt like any kind of normalcy in the last like almost 5 months now, and that was good. But the thing I've come to know now is that when something good happens and I feel good for like a day or a half a day or an hour or any of that, I feel like I know for sure I'm about to get punished by that. And it like, whatever it brings us up is sure to come down again after. Like, that's just kind of what's been happening.
Why did you use the word punish?
I don't know, yeah. Well, because it feels like a punishment.
I don't think it's a punishment. I think it's just like...
Oh, I feel like I'm getting punished by life when it brings me down like that. It takes a beating on me. And,
okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
When I think of it, it's because like I haven't felt it enough, you know? So it's like you're kind of sucking back those feelings. You're going through life and going through the motions without acknowledging those feelings and feeling sad. And then when it's like you get quiet time, boom, it rushes in, right? So I don't know if it's a punishment. I think it's just
reality.
This is reality of what we're given.
Yeah, all I know is it hurts. And
yeah,
it drains me bad when it comes back down. And so I can get through that, but we were just talking about this too. There's a difference between like the hardships and then what do we call it when it brings you down into like the dark feelings? Yeah, there's a difference between having a good day and then it coming back down and slipping into like a really bad mindset or just the dark thoughts of like the reality that we're in and stuff.
I find myself right now, I'm like the swinging pendulum. I feel like I'm like over here is like the highest of high where it's like I have so much love, gratitude, patience, connection, and then on the other end of it I'm so angry. Like if somebody gives me the finger in the car, all I can picture is following them and like it's bad. It's the rage level and it's like that's not what I want to be, but our patience is very short, right? And then on top of that, when those dark days come in, like it's anger, sadness, deep depression, right? And I think that why we're sharing this is maybe because I feel like everyone I've spoken to on this matter is the same. So it's very normal to be feeling these things, you know? Like it's normal to have your very highs and have the very lows. And there's really not much in between is what I'm finding. It's either I'm super up and feeling like really grateful and connected or like beyond low where I'm angry, you know?
Yeah. It's probably going to take some time to be able to figure out like these new parameters we live by and like try to get some middle ground, you know, balance, like emotional balance.
I think it's a lot to do with perspective too, right? Because the world right now, especially, is a very scary place, and like I was scared for my kids before Roman passed away. I truly was. Like I was worried about the way the world's going and all these things. So now it's like if I can shift my perspective into like being, like I said, like Roman's in the safest place, and beyond that, Roman moved up so many people. We have had dozens and dozens and dozens of people reaching out saying like, you know, I'm believing in faith because of you. I went to church last week because of you. I'm like actually grieving somebody I haven't grieved in 8 years because of you. So thank you for sharing your story. Like it's been so much outpour, and it is not because of us. It's because of Roman. Yeah. And it's because I actually read something the other day which really triggered my mind because somebody had posted and they said, you know, I just went to my 90-year-old grandfather's funeral. His whole family is passed outside of like the younger grandkids and kids. And within 2 days, everybody went back to their normal life, and he's forgotten about from majority of the world.
The world keeps turning, right?
They get to keep his legacy, and he has children and grandchildren. Of course, it's still sad, and like I'm sure that it was a beautiful legacy that he's leaving behind his family, but it's like Roman, when he passed and when a lot of children pass, they make ripples in people. Like life is forever changed, not just for us, but for many, many people that, you know, knew us, heard Roman's story, had Roman's friends, like the perspective. And I don't know about you, but I remember like people that passed away long, their names more than I remember some of the friends that I grew up with. Like they come to my mind before most people, right?
Oh yeah.
Because they've had a big impact. So it's like, you know, I think that these things happen to teach not just our family. Like Roman left a legacy he's still teaching people, you know?
Yeah.
So again, it's that perspective. Like life is a short ride. We're all gonna die. We're all gonna cross that bridge and make that point. You know, some younger than others, but one thing's for sure now is like we don't have to be scared, and I fully feel that. Like nobody has to be scared.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're here for bigger reasons than what we kind of normally think about and accept. And you know, we like to live it like in these kind of like safe bubble feelings, and it's kind of a delusion. You know, like even just living in a house and on a quiet street or whatever, like you feel tucked away and secure, but life's not like that, man. It's just like if you take a look in the forest at like how the animals are living and stuff. I know we're not animals, but that's more like realistic as what's really going on. We kind of get lulled away just thinking, you know, everything's good, but it's a pretty big roller coaster ride.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I think that where society maybe has gotten lost, and we've been guilty of it too, is we think that we're here for like pleasure, you know? Yeah, we work hard, but we're always here for the good time, where we're looking for the good time. And there's nothing wrong with having a good time and enjoying life and exploring, and there's nothing wrong with having fun. I'm not trying to say that like you can never have fun again in your life, but you're also here for a much deeper reason than just fun. You're here to serve other people. You're here to learn. You're here to grow. You're here to love people, you know? And I think that our society in a whole has really stepped away from that, right? Like now it's just like the more superficial things in life are taking forefront versus the stuff that really matters, the deep roots, the values, the morals, you know? And
you get a big lesson in that when you lose somebody like your kid, man.
yeah.
It really shows, it changes perspective, like flips it upside down. You know, they say you don't know what you have till it's gone, but like that, the depth of that meaning is so much heavier than you would ever expect. Like we've lost a dog, I've lost lots of family members and stuff, but when you lose a kid, man, it's next level. So like there's something in suffering that really makes you appreciate what you had and the time you shared. Like I appreciate from Roman every single moment, just like nothing else. It's as big as it is a loss. I also now look at like I find myself thanking God, and I'm just like, thank you for like every moment, and specifically too, like those moments now are. There's core memories like beyond my memories of being a kid growing up and like all those little core memories. My memories of my time with Roman are more precious than anything I could have. So
there's two sides of this. That's the thing. It's like I said, there's that human side and those dark, deep feelings, and you have to go through it. It's not that I'm saying like you have to ignore all that, but when you're talking about gratitude and stuff, it's like I'm still in such gratitude for my son. Like even when I connect with him now, like I feel him and I'm so thankful that I can, you know what I mean? Like he's just a strong little dude. He wants to come through.
Mm-hmm.
He's like around, he's doing stuff, not just to us, to other people. You know, he's visiting people in the dreams.
The dreams is a big one.
And I'm just like my kid's a little rock star, you know? Like honestly, he is. I'm so proud of him still. And I know he's making bigger moves there. Like even when I have had dreams of him, he literally tells me like, I'm home, I'm happy. You know, like I'm still with you guys all the time, but this place is freaking awesome. And I think that that's really what we need to lean into is, you know, this is a short ride and there is still so much more. And connecting with your kids is number one. Like honestly, you can still connect with your kids, treat them like they're there.
There's these dreams we're having they're not dreams, man, if you ask me. Like they're just way too different because like when I have a dream about Roman, I can tell the difference between when I'm trying to have a dream about Roman or when Roman is like visiting me in my sleep. And I don't know, like the lucidity is so heavy. It becomes like, I know I'm dreaming when it happens. And it's like, I even know that if I try to do too much, I'll wake up because that's what always happens. Like if I see him, I instantly, my first few dreams of him, when he would show up, he would always show up at a time where he would in life. Like if I'm cooking a steak, or I remember one time we were fighting and he just came out like worried and wanted to like intervene and stuff. And it was always a time that would be so real in real life, like when he was here. And I don't know, man. Like, it's like I know at that moment, I would grab him and hug him and just tell him I love him, and I would just wake up like that. And now it's like in my dreams, I'm starting to realize, like, if I do that, I'll wake up. So I got to just let this be. But I know all this, and it's so crazy because I'm just like letting it be while I'm in a dream, but still being aware of it. And then it goes on some time, and like different things will happen, but it's not the same, because like I can tell when I'm trying to have a dream about Roman, and like sometimes I'll even call out to him and try, and it never happens. He always comes like when he wants to come, and then my dream is completely different. It's like amped up, different level. It feels more profound. It feels more like a visit from him than it does like a dream of some sort. So
you have to be very open to it. I've spoken to several parents, and they haven't had the same experiences as us, and I think it's because like we're more on the open-minded side, and they say you have to work from a real place of gratitude, which I understand it's really hard in grief, and there is days where I just can't at all, but outside of just like hoping for that dream, what a lot of people can do is like deep breathing. So a lot of breath techniques, like you can find a bunch of stuff on YouTube, and that just helps like get rid of that stuck energy, right? Because we have grief just sits in us. So meditating, that's what I do. And I always just like automatically like say like, I'm so thankful for you, Roman. I love you so much. Like, and I just burst out for him for love, right? And usually within that, like something happens, like there's a connection made. However, like he gives me a sign, or like, I get into more of a deeper meditation, and I've have like, I guess you would call them almost visions or whatnot of what is like just different things that have been shown to me. Like even that, like once Jesus has came through, and then he showed me glimpses of Roman in a happy place that I would consider heaven. It was almost earthly like, but way brighter, better, more alive, right? So, I mean, like outside of just waiting for a dream, because I know that can be frustrating, you can work at it a bit, because it is a two-way streak. And I know it's not for everybody, the meditation, like you said, you can't get into meditation
I can't right now because I have a hard time. Like when I try to meditate, I get hit with like the bad thoughts and stuff, and it happens so quick, and then I get anxious. Like,
So I actually read a lot of documents about that, because I had the same thing happening to me. And what they said is like doing the deep breath work, because you can't work from a place of fear, and that stuff is still in you. So you still have like worked up anxiety, worked up fear. So doing breath work actually helps release all that stuff, right? Yeah. And then you can always do it with prayer. Like before I do any meditations or any deep breath work, I always say like Jesus, like I pray to Jesus, God, Mary, the archangels, whatever, and I keep that light love energy with me, right? Yeah. And things happen.
Yoga helps me. I like it gives me, because most of the yoga poses and stuff, it gives you like 2 to 5 minutes, and I can handle that. But when we start getting deeper, then maybe like even 5 minutes is kind of pushing it. I start struggling for sure.
It's not for everybody, but it's just some solutions for people, right? Like if they are trying to make that happen. Yeah. Because I know waiting on a dream can be frustrating. Like I've had probably 4 dreams in the 5 months.
Yeah, same.
So and I want to try to connect with him every single day, right? So it's something that you can do.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough, man. It's tough because like if you sit and stoop and think, like it's easy to slip into a thought like train of they're gone and now I have nothing, no connection. I think that's pretty common. I'd say that's probably even more common in these cases than it isn't. So it's good to cling on to like the thought train of like you can still connect through your spirit. And if you can focus and really you gotta believe in it, man. You can't just like you can't get frustrated in it. You have to actually try. You have to really try to calm yourself, and then it can happen for sure. Yeah, it can definitely happen. Like I feel like I would always struggle with this stuff. Before this happened, I was never like a big believer in like the spiritual stuff and all that. And like since this happened, I've come to realize like there's just things that have happened that are like undoubtedly it just lets you know the spirit is a real thing. Like it's really like some part of you lives on for sure. Like I've caught glimpses of Roman in church, you know what I mean? Like just like a quick, like you're like, whoa. And I don't know, and then in my dreams and this, the stuff with the altar, like hearing the sigh and all that when it first happened. So like big believer in the spirit, man, like undoubtedly. But you have to have faith. You have to have faith in whatever that is to you. I think like you can probably be of any faith and still have faith in some other things like your soul and your spirit living on after death. And if you can actually believe that and have faith in that and actively try to get better at that, honestly, you'll definitely have like these spiritual experiences.
Well, they go back way, way back, like forever in history. Even in the Bible, if you read the Bible, it's the angels approached people. They had visions. People have seen the angels, the prophets, the prophecies that were predicted.
Mm-hmm.
It's going back to biblical times that people have had visions, had things happen to them. So it's definitely something that, like, to me, what we're trying to say is like, there's no doubt about that. There's afterlife, and try to keep that connection strong with your kid.
It's doable.
Whatever, it is doable. That's my number one goal, is to just keep.
You gotta have the faith and trust in it, and not get discouraged, because it's not easy, and you really have to have the faith to like that you're.
Have you ever been angry with God? That's this.
Yeah, I remember the very beginning, like the day of, I wanted to snap and just like let it out. And
when that priest was there?
Before it, the whole time, really, the whole day, the day of, yeah, I wanted to just like go pure chaos, but I withheld it, man. I said, no, I'm not going to do that, because like I truly do believe that these things they happen for reasons that are way bigger than what we can conceive, and I just want to keep the faith here, because who knows why they happen, but I know it. All I know is that I want to end up, when this life is over, back with my son, like on a spiritual level. I want us all to be together again, and if that means I gotta change the pace of my life and be better, and and just be a better person, that's what I'm gonna do.
It's funny because my aunt I just had lunch with my aunt the other day, and she's very, very spiritual, very religious, beautiful person. And she said that she was talking to Father Michael, which is the priest that did Roman's funeral.
Yeah, shout out Father Michael.
Yeah, and she said, and she was talking about like, how Ryan and Amanda are going through like such a hard time, and he was saying like they're lovely, lovely people, and they're always going to have a hole in their heart until they're until they meet their son again. And I guess she said, I guess like, yeah, we hope, that's our hope. And then he stopped her and he said, no, that's the truth. That's the good news. Mm-hmm. Right? That's Absolutely. Like what we believe in. That's what Jesus promises us in the Bible. And it's just all these afterlife contact stuff. It's just shows that that's what's going to happen. Right? So we do need to be the best people we can be here for him. But
I don't know. Recently too, I don't know what's been going on, but I just find myself when I pray to God that He accepts Roman into heaven, or that Roman is already there, and I feel like one thing that's happened since this has happened is I felt like, I think I had a thought, and I was just like, Roman died when he was 13. Like when I was 13, I was already up to mischief, and like it's taken me my whole life to try to get to a point where like I feel like I'm making amends with God. And so I started to worry that maybe like Roman didn't have that chance because he was taken early. And then I started to worry that, like, did God accept him in, and like, is he in heaven, or what's going on? So then I started praying. Like every time I pray, I'm just like, God, whatever like was left undone, put it on me, and like let him be in heaven, right? Like just like I worry about so many things. I think it's just because I'm a dad.
No, I'm going to tell you this. That is the other side. That critical voice, like that's what you can call like evil to me, like creeping in and wanting you to think that. Because I'm going to tell you this right now. God is loving. Roman was one of the purest people I've ever met in my life. Like, I'm not even joking. He was not your typical 13-year-old at all. Even one of those kids that God's going to accept into heaven, they don't know better. When Jesus was getting crucified on a cross, he said, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they've done or what they do." So he can forgive the worst, people that are literally torturing him, but he's not going to forgive an innocent 13-year-old. You got to cut that critical thinking out because it's just not the truth. And I've been shown those things. Like I have been shown where Roman is. He's let me know so many times, and it's a beautiful frickin' place. And like what kind of God do we believe in if our God would put somebody like that in somewhere bad? That if Roman's not in heaven, then there's no hope for anybody. It just can't be. So I just think like shut that critical thinking out. Even like I know a lot of people that like, and this is a very, very touchy subject, but you know, there's a lot of people that lose children to suicide. It's heavy. I see it all over groups. It's awfully sad. And this is where like the religion thing comes in, where it's like, you know, they're saying that they're in eternal hell and stuff like that. And I just like, I refuse to believe that my loving God that I know wouldn't wrap those people that are in so much pain in his love. So I just don't accept that, you know, I just don't. Maybe there's some consequences to it, but I don't believe in that eternal. I think that there is a hell for specific people where it's like very demonic based people, but not for people that, you know, are broken. Like Jesus is near the brokenhearted. That's in the Bible. God is near the brokenhearted. And it's, I don't believe in that stuff myself, you know? And this is where I get this tricky part with the religion and spirituality, right? Because no matter what, like I believe in Jesus, Mary, God. I love reading the Bible. I love going to church to feel connected and praying. But I don't like the fear-based, it's like a government fear, you know, like it's that, and you have to think like religion was a government before, right? So it's like, I always say, use your own discernment with things, but even us trying to meditate to my son, people would say, oh, that's demonic. I'm like, how is something so bright and beautiful and light demonic? There's not one bad thing coming out of it. There's not one bad feeling. There's not one scary thing. It's literally telling us that our kid's in a beautiful place. He's full of life and love. And the messages that he portrays out is like, love everybody. There's more to this. There's peace. There's home. How is that demonic? He even said, keep the faith to me. So there's
nothing demonic about praying. I don't know. I pray to God for my son. I don't necessarily like say prayers like to him, but.
Oh yeah, no,
you know
it's
what I
not
mean?
praying to him.
No,
It's not that. It's just you pray for him.
There's nothing demonic about that. That's like, what else would you expect as a parent than to pray for your lost kid like every day, all day? That's so necessary, even, you know. So that's beautiful. Like
I know, but honestly, like going back to what you're saying on like you think like.
No, I worry. Just like everything gets in my head. I beat myself down. Like I don't know. It's just like this loop I'm stuck in where I worry. I worry because I don't know and I can't see and I can't know. Like
but that's faith. That's faith.
Well, this is faith testing me to the max.
And it's
right?
okay to question things, but don't ever think Roman's not in a good place.
Yeah,
you've seen it yourself firsthand.
Yeah, I just have my days.
I always think that's the evil trying to get into your head, because that's what they do. They try to get into your head, and it's just the truth. That's how they control people, right? They put them in fear. But I have not for 1 second in my, since Roman has been gone, worried about where he was. Not even 1 second.
Yeah.
No. Do you recognize yourself anymore?
Yeah, I do, but I feel that I can't even, I feel the same. I feel like the same person I always have been, but I just can't continue on the exact same paths that I was on. Just they won't be whole. Like certain things are just not going to be the same without having my son there, and I don't know how to. I mean, if I just keep trying to do the same things, I would probably get used to it again. But I don't know if I want to. Like I kind of want to protect those core memories and just. For what they were when they were whole, when we were a whole family. And I feel like if I move to a different path now, I can make new memories in different areas, but I can protect those old memories and keep them exactly as they were, so that I'm not like, you know, erasing them or or replacing them.
So like, in what way are you talking about? Like, going to the cottage?
I worry about the cottage, and like the family business that we were doing. Like I don't know if I can continue, man. I keep thinking I want to, but I don't think I can. And then the stress that it's gonna bring to, when with the chaos of everybody like smashing up things and just I don't know. So there's I worry about the cottage because like that's such a cherished place. I'm gonna try to go there because it's not just like it's a family cottage like in many ways too. Like your parents, your nieces and nephews, even my nieces and nephews, my brother, like my uncle, like a whole there's a lot there. So I want to give the cottage a fair shot, but there's certain things that I don't know that I want to continue to. So.
Mm-hmm. Like I've had
video games. I don't know. I can't play video games either right now. So
I've had people say like that we should do that stuff because it like honors him in his life and like what he loved, right? But I don't think that people understand the depth of how hard this is. This isn't like, an older man that like, oh, he loved riding a motorcycle, hop on your bike. No, this is a child. Like everything feels very, very hard to enjoy life. It's the max level of guilt to the most extreme that you can be, because it's your kid, you know what I mean? And he didn't get to experience a full life, so it feels very, very hurtful. Like I feel guilty being happy. I feel guilty trying to do good things. I feel guilty even like being happy with you and Bella, which is awful, and it should never feel that way, but it's just the way it is. It's just like Roman should be here. So I don't think that people understand it to that degree where it's like, we're not just like going to go for a cruise to rally up for, a 75-year-old man that did, loved his motorcycle or loved whatever. It's way deeper than that,
Yeah, because if you've lived your whole life, then you can honor that and you can cherish the memories. Like that's a lot of memories. But when you get robbed of lifetime of memories, like, it's just a different thing altogether. I think at that point, then it becomes more of trying to hold on to the things you had and leaving a legacy and almost living his life like for him or with him as you continue on too, which you're doing a lot of, like with the bracelets and stuff. Got the Live Like Roman bracelets, man-made, and the sweaters. Those are great ways. Like the charity stuff you're doing for over Christmas. Those are amazing ways to let his memory live on. And
those are the ways that make me feel good, right? But life is gonna have to go on because we have Bella. I don't want her to be, always around us being so sad.
Yeah.
So I mean, we can take our time, but eventually we have to start to step forward to living life again with Roman with us in everything we do, of course. But I think that right now is the scariest thing.
We owe it to Bella. We can't just like if Bella will lose a lot more than just a brother, she'll also lose her parents if we don't. So
something that always stuck with me with Bella was because we were all with Roman when he passed, and I guess the conversation had gotten brought up, and somebody had said like, "Oh, Bella, that must have been really hard for you to see, and trying to support her and stuff." And it almost shattered me because she looked over and she said, like, yeah, seeing my brother pass away was extremely hard, but she goes, but then I looked at my mom's face and she goes, and I'm gonna cry because of this now, but she said that I seen my mom's face and like she died that day too. And it's hard, but I'm trying to come out of that, but it takes time, right? Because I'm caught in the world of both my kids. One's here, one's over there, so it's heavy. But of course, we're just trying to stand up for Bella, be there, and I'm still trying to make Roman proud, right?
Yeah.
So it's heavy and hard, but we have to try to do it.
Yeah, we're kind of stuck in the in between of both, right?
Yeah.
We definitely owe it to Bella. Bella's amazing. She just got the Beacon of Hope Award at school.
That was
man, her strength is crazy.
Yeah.
Like
she's our hope right now.
She's picking us up through this.
Yeah.
Which is nuts. I always said that our kids were like the parents and we're like the kids. I don't know.
Still like that.
It's so true.
Yeah.
Oh, man, our kids were so much wiser than us and just stronger and better. I was worried because they say, I remember when we first had our kids, they're like, oh yeah, you watch, like however you were as a kid, your kids are going to be twice as bad. And it was the complete opposite. Our kids were amazing, good kids. And like,
even teenagers, like, and people would say like, oh, they were just starting, but I'm going to tell you this, like Roman would have never ever touched drugs. He never would have drank. He was so
he hated that stuff, hated it.
He hated it. He would never do that, and I can say that full force. And Bella's the same. She's so smart. They have a wisdom on them beyond, you know. Bella's more like she likes to have fun, and you know, she might get into small things, but it's nothing to compare to what we were like when we were growing up. We were way worse.
Yeah.
Because I was watching this reel, and it was about this lady, and she was in between two cars, and like a car came and smoked them both, and they both just missed her. She didn't get hit at all, and it was so high impact. And I was reading all the comments, and they're like, saved by God, grace by God, you know. So how does hearing that make you feel?
Yeah, I know what you mean. You feel like, well, that's not fair, like that God would give her a second chance and not Roman, right? But I don't think that, I you know what I'm a firm believer in is that when it's your time, you're gonna go. And it might be in a variety of ways. Like if you miss it here, it'll just happen there, you know, like Final Destination. It's kind of, I swear, fate is, it's there. And honestly, one thing about Roman, amazing kid, big heart, and just didn't do wrong to nobody. Like he would stick up for people. Like I just feel like God reclaimed him. He's like, no, you know, you've done enough over here. It's like in his 13 years, he's done more good than I did in my entire life. So
I think that too. I'm like, it's a grace of God that she was saved, but it's you also get graced by God in death. Like we felt it, you know, like I had a peace in my heart after Roman passed. I was destroyed and broken, but like, it was like, you just feel so divinely connected, you know, and it's probably because he's my son. He lived in my body, you know what I mean? But I was so connected. I had that soul level connection with him, and the peace is next level. So he's also graced by God, because it's like, I think this world is hard, and it's like he doesn't have to go through all this crap. He's way more leveled up than everybody, you know? We have lessons to learn, or we have to help people, or we have to do things. Roman's still helping people, but he's not suffering here. Yeah. And I know that's scary for a lot of people to hear, but remember even the Father Mike had said to everybody at Roman's funeral, buckle up, young people, because if you haven't had anything tough happen to you yet, just wait. Yeah. Everybody carries crosses. Everybody has a sad story, you know? It's what you do with it.
Yeah, I don't think life is about coming here to have some fucking reckless party and just like live it up like constantly. I think that life is really about coming here and putting in work and leveling up your soul and just getting to more depth and going through hardships and even suffering. Like there's something in suffering that does like tremendous work on you as a person too. Like when all's going good, it like if it goes good for a really long time, especially, you start to forget that like you might feel like immortal and like that life could never do you wrong and that things are always going to be good. Like it doesn't even take long. Like if you've had a good year, you might feel like that already. So it's not until you go through the real stuff, like the loss, the pain, the suffering, that you remember that there's a lot more to this, and you're here for profound reasons, I think.
Yeah, and what really this has taught me is really just to be in the present, because the past is very painful, you know. There is joy in there, so I pull memories there, but I don't live in it, you know. I love to look back and stuff, but I don't live in the past. I'm not going to dwell on the past. Yeah. I've already told myself that. The future is an imagination. It's not even reality.
Yeah.
Me and Ryan talked our whole life like, oh, you know, when the kids turn 16, 17, they can drive up to the cottage and have their friends to the cottage, or when the kids...
And now look, we don't have one of our kids to even come.
Yeah, or like when the kids have their kids, they can come up to the cottage, they can, you know, bring their families, or...
That's dog.
Chucky.
He always likes to go drinking water when we're having a pod. Yeah, that's the other thing too, is the loss of not even having grandkids from Roman, like to look forward to. Like If you think that life is promised, let me tell you, it isn't.
No, and number one thing is live in the present, 100%, because everything else, you don't even know what's real and what's going to happen. Your life can change very quickly.
If you woke up today, thank God. Like, the very first thing, thank God, and live this day like it's your last, because I already know what that's like now for it to be your last. You know, like when Roman died, I died too. You died too. We all died together at that moment.
But we still have to breathe.
But we still have to, yeah.
Yeah, that's the hard part.
We're still here. This is like purgatory now more than it is like a life for me. So
the one person said it's like I died that day, but I still had to live.
Yeah.
Which is hard, right? The other thing that like I would love to like just end on is be kind to people. Bella, she's so freaking bright. She's so wise. We're lucky to have 2 kids that were way wiser than we ever were. But she went to the auto show in Toronto a couple weekends back, and she came home and she said, "Oh my gosh, there were so many people there." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And I was thinking like she was gonna tell me she felt anxious or something. And she goes, and all I could think of was how many people are going through a hard time right now. And for a 15-year-old girl to think that is so profound, right? So she's saying like we're going through a hard time, but how many other people are going through a hard time? And like if everybody was just kind to people, it makes people's lives a lot more easier. So be kind, and
she lives by that code too. Like, and so did Roman. Like Bella she'll get mad at you if you go out for dinner and get served and you don't say thank you. Like if every person at the table doesn't show some thanks, right? Like she'll be like, say thanks.
or like clean up your plate.
Yeah, or she always does that. It's even annoying. She'll be stacking plates and stuff to help. Adorable. Yeah, so be good people, right?
Be kind. You never know what people are going through. Outside of that, we have lots of people lined up on the podcast coming on. So we have people from the States, people from the UK. We have a local family coming, which we are so excited for.
Yeah.
So I think when we hop on, we're going to kind of do dialogue like this where we're just chatting and sharing our thoughts. But
drop us a comment. Let us know what you want us to ask people too, so we have more to work with.
Different people's stories, kids of all ages.
Yeah.
And we, child death is scary, and we don't want to scare people because it makes it a little bit like, oh, it can happen to them. But it's letting these kids' lives live on, sharing their stories, sharing their pictures, and sharing like the phenomenal things that have happened after child loss that, prove to us that there is life after this and there's nothing to be scared of.
Yeah. And like there's lots of ways to grieve and things that bring you grief in life too. So it's not just about losing a child. You can also pick, different little bits out of
it's
coping,
a good lesson
really.
For anybody, right? These things, but And this is what it's going to be. It's sometimes going to be laughing, sometimes it's going to be crying, sometimes it's going to be everything in between, because that's real, right? And that's the reality of child loss, any loss. It's pain and beauty and everything intertwined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So stay tuned.
Yeah.
That's another wrap for episode 3.
Oh gosh.